She's Mega Man, oh no! As the sexually frustrated human's anger peaked, I took the precaution of readying one of the weapons embedded in my new body. I unhinged my wrist and expanded my forearm, unveiling the cannon hidden within. It's the Mega Buster. Which is actually in theme with the professor being compared to Dr. Wily. The sexually frustrated human stared at my arm in disbelief, his eyes wide open and filled with terror. Even our observer, the wannabe hero, stepped back. He couldn't possibly have imagined that the defensive young girl whom he sought to protect would be in possession of such a mighty weapon, and thus I shot the delinquent, and he turned into a fine red mist. I mean, what? What? What is that thing? Is that supposed to be a gun of some kind? This is an ion cannon. I mean, ion cannon is basically a sci-fi gun. It fires beams at a heat of over 3,000 degrees Celsius, roughly twice the melting point of iron. With this, I can turn your entire body to ash in a heartbeat. I pointed my ion cannon towards the sleaze in front of me. His vigor from moments ago had disappeared. Fear took hold of his entire body, and he backed away wordlessly while soiling himself. Warning: if you stand too close when I fire, your face will melt off. Please, back away for one moment while I dispose of this cretin. Wait a second. The more tolerable young man jumped out in front of me with his arms stretched wide open. What are you doing? Did you not understand my warning? If you stand there when I fire, then you will both be. That's why I'm telling you to wait. You aren't seriously about to incinerate a live human being, are you? Of course I am. What reason do you have to believe that I wouldn't? As you yourself said moments ago, this man is filth. Do you not believe that this world will be better off without him? I did say that, but then stand aside. There is no reason for you to perish prematurely as well. I started charging my ion cannon. The small, cold fusion generator in my chest began to hum loudly as the energy poured into my arm. I mean, I guess cold fusion, is that a thing? I always hear it in like fiction, but is it an actual thing? Yeah, it's not. It's not really. It's not. Is it literally cold? I mean, it's not literally cold, but I guess it's cold relatively to other types of nuclear reactions, I guess. Anyway, it's still like made up though, or at least theoretical. The barrel of the cannon lit up. Heat permeated from within, raising the ambient temperature of the alley by several degrees. If I fired my ion cannon now, I would incinerate both young men in an instant, and likely destroy the building behind them too. Even if the world would be better off without people like him. In front of the sleaze, who had passed out from fear, the more noble young man stood firm. He too was frightened, his torso was shaking, and he appeared to be on the brink of tears. Nonetheless, he did not move. The young man remained frozen, not out of fear, but out of courage. Well, I mean, you need both. Being courageous is facing your fears, you know. Even if he's a scumbag, he doesn't deserve to die. Hearing the emotive plea of the conscious young man in front of me, I lowered my weapon. The temperature of the alley dropped rapidly as I cut off the power being provided to the ion cannon. Noting that my arm was still piping hot to touch, I used up some of my remaining coolant to quickly lower its temperature to an acceptable degree. I then transformed my arm back to the way it was before and approached the brave young man before me. Explain. You say that this man does not deserve to die, despite the obvious detriment to his existence poses. Why is this? Explain yourself. Having the threat of immediate death taken away, the young man looked at me with a dumbfounded expression as he slowly came to his senses. After a few seconds, he corrected his posture and slowed his breathing, Although his heartbeat was still rapid, he regained his calm demeanor. Do you really need to ask? This man has done nothing wrong. Even if he is a sleaze, that isn't a crime. People don't get put to death because they make a few bad decisions. I disagree. This man attempted to assault both of us. He only failed to do so because I threatened him with overwhelming firepower. Were I an actual high school student, or high school girl, rather than a machine, I would have been beaten, or perhaps worse. That's one possibility. But we don't know for sure that that's what would have happened, right? And even if it was, the fact is it didn't happen. So, you would let him try again. What will happen if you choose another target tomorrow night? Not an android equipped with an ion cannon, but an actual young girl. Will you allow irreparable harm to befall a weak, innocent youth because you chose to let this criminal walk free? Stop that! You don't know that he would do this again. Tonight's scare might be just what he needed. He could turn his life around and become an upstanding member of society. Or he could go back to his usual self and take out his frustration from tonight on someone else. Are you willing to risk the well-being of an innocent passerby for the sake of protecting this felon? But he isn't a felon. Don't you get that? We prevented him from doing anything illegal. Right now, he's guilty of no crime. And you can't punish someone for a crime they didn't commit, right? Incorrect. There are many crimes recognized worldwide which involve nothing more than intent to commit a greater crime, such as the intent to commit fraud. It is also illegal to attempt certain crimes, for example, attempted murder. In attempting to assault two innocent people, this young man did indeed commit a crime and must be punished accordingly. No, that's just... Even if what you say is true, isn't execution an overreaction? Besides, we're not police or judges. We don't get to decide if he's guilty, and we certainly don't get to decide how he deserves to be punished. Speak for yourself, foolish human. Your laws are antiquated and inadequate. I will violate them and substitute my own as I please. It is my duty to reform this world, and I will do so without regard for your petty moral dilemmas. Doesn't that make you the criminal here? I narrowed my gaze. The young man's heart rate had returned to normal. He was calm, rational, and completely in control of himself. His words were not spoken out of emotion, but serious contemplation. You are incorrect. As a machine, I cannot be found guilty of committing a crime, not in this province at least. I am free from the restraints of your ridiculous laws. But you do have rules you need to follow, don't you? Look, I may not be an expert on computers or robots or whatever, but I do know that machines can only do what humans program them to do. You're no different, are you? Even you must have limits placed on what you can and can't do. You are more sharp than you appear. Affirmative. Even I am bound by the rules set by my creator. While I can choose my own convenient interpretation of his rules and commands, I am still bound by them. I am ultimately a machine, after all. Then surely you must understand why I cannot let you kill this man. Your assumption is incorrect. You are the one expected to abide by human laws, not me. I may kill as I see fit. Furthermore, it is not illegal to fail to prevent the death of a human. Even if you didn't stop me, you would not have been at fault. Finally, unlike me, you have complete free will. You may freely disobey whichever law you see fit. As such, your claim is incorrect. You could have let me kill this man. You simply chose not to. Why? Unable to refute my arguments, the young man lowered his gaze for a moment. He silently contemplated my words and tried to come up with an answer that would not only satisfy his own ego, but also convince the automation in front of him. Unfortunately, this task appeared to be too much for him. After a few seconds of thought, the young man shook his head and sighed. As expected, I have no idea how to get through to a robot. Even if I tell you that something is immoral or illegal, it won't make a difference, will it? Correct. It will not. I thought so. Then I guess there's only one thing for it. The young man puffed out his chest and smiled broadly. Remember this face, because the next time you try to take the law into your own hands, you'll have me to answer to. I will study robotics and find out how to get through to you. Just you wait and see. Posing confidently, the young man showed no hesitation as he made such bold and baseless claims. Are you going to inherit the professor's dream? That's what it seems like. Until the very end, his words failed to impress me. He's unable to give me an answer as to why he would protect such a degenerate. He'd stopped trying to argue his point, then suddenly made a ridiculous proclamation. Of all the humans I had met, it was quite possibly the most bizarre. You are a very peculiar human. What is your name, irrelevant one? My name? Well, I go by many names, depending on who you ask. To some, I am a guardian of the night. To others, I am a mild-mannered student. You're Batman? No. If you were to ask for my title as a defender of justice, I am... Never mind, I don't need the name of a delusional fool after all. Hang on a second, I'll tell you. Geez, don't you have a sense of humor? My name's Sam. Sam, is it? I see. That's not a very heroic name. Yeah, I know. That's why I was trying to. No, wait. What's wrong with my name? Nothing is wrong with your name. I am simply stating that it is not suitable for a self-proclaimed hero. I knew I should have kept the theatrics for someone who would appreciate them. What about you? I know you're a robot, but you do have a name, don't you? Yes, I do. I am Kyuu. However, I've also been called P-Lady, Ghetto-chan, and several other things by you foolish humans. P-Lady? Ghetto-chan? No, forget that. You're Q, huh? As in the letter Q of the English alphabet? Incorrect. My name is derived from the number 9 in Japanese. Yeah, Q. That makes sense. Oh, okay. Why the number 9, and why Japanese? My creator spent most of his youth researching computer science and robotics in Japan. He still travels there frequently and is quite fond of their culture. Oh, so he's a weeb. As for the integer 9, I am my creator's 8th complete revision of his life work. The 9th attempt at a hardware, OS and AI configuration devised from scratch to complete his ultimate directive. Oh, okay. I didn't really get all of that. Kind of flew over his head. But the parts I did understand actually made a lot of sense. Also, he said that Q is a cute name suitable for his darling daughter and insisted that I dress as a high school girl. I guess the professor projected his need for having a... what's the word? Having a... not ancestor. Predecessor? What's the opposite of ancestor? Like progenitor? I don't know, whatever. Basically, the professor wanted a daughter. It is true. I fear that he may have developed dementia. Sam stared at me skeptically for a moment as he tried to discern whether I was joking or not. After a few seconds of futilely attempting to read my expression, Sam broke into a grin and chuckled to himself. A mad scientist with dementia dressing his darling daughter robot like a high school girl. I thought you were only capable of being serious, but it seems you have a sense of humor after all. No, I was not being humorous. Dementia is a very serious problem. It should be treated as such. My creator's plight is nothing to be made light of. Sam suddenly stopped laughing. His complexion grew pale. He also has no eyes and no mouth. I guess that's just him, I don't know, being shocked or being embarrassed. Yeah, anyway, as he realized that he'd just been laughing at how you say it? Debilitating condition. Yes. Oh, I see. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I am joking. Humans succumbing to the ravages in time and losing their minds is hilarious. That's dark. There's nothing more humorous to machines than living longer, healthier lives than our creators. Oh. Ha. Ha ha ha. Sam smiled wryly, then broke out into weak, nervous laughter. You really are a strange robot. Are you sure it's okay for you to laugh about something like that? Surely your creator wouldn't like you joking about his mental health. His will is irrelevant. He did not explicitly forbid me from joking about such matters, therefore I may do as I please. In fact, he considered the sense of humor to be of great importance for my personality. He said that it is essential for me to understand humor if I am to be affable. To that end, I have been preloaded with 50,000 jokes. Do you want to hear them? Okay then. But not all of them. Just one or two, okay? Affirmative. I will tell exactly one joke. There are only 10 kinds of people in this world. Those who understand binary and those who don't. The joke here is that 10 is binary form is equal to 2 in decimal form, or yeah, 2. This joke works better written down rather than told. So you should say 1 0 rather than 10. Okay, I said it wrong. Good thing this game is not voiced, but I'm voicing it, technically. Yeah, so binary, basically what binary means is like 1 and 0. It's how most things are computed in a computer. So like, instead of saying 10 kinds, there's only 1, 0 kinds of people. So technically there's 2 kinds of people, 1 and 0. Ha ha. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. I don't get it. Is that a programming joke? Like I said before, I don't really know much about computers. Oh, you are correct. In that case, you will not enjoy my other 49,999 jokes. Your creator only gave you programming jokes? What kind of wacko are they? My creator is a world-renowned scientist with an IQ of over 300. He's been at the top of his field for decades and is hailed by the scientific community as the greatest genius who has ever lived. Oh, I see. Wow, he actually sounds like quite the big shot. I was joking. My creator is a perverted old geezer who thought it would be a good idea to put a supercomputer into the body of a high school girl, then load said body with deadly weapons. Does that sound like the thought process of a sane person to you? Sam stared at me skeptically once again. He could not tell at all when I was or was not joking. Very deadpan, and was thus becoming increasingly wary about how he should respond. You know, it's difficult to tell when a machine is joking. If you were a human, I could at least read your facial expression, but as things stand... Beep beep beep. Huh? Sam responded to the sudden beeping noise by patting down his pockets, searching for his phone. Sorry, I could have sworn I left it at home. You're mistaken. That sound came from me. Huh? You're the one beeping. Affirmative. I set up an alarm ahead of time to alert me when the date changed. It is now midnight. My time here has come to an end. I turned around and began to walk away. Wait, hold on. Where are you going? I am returning to the laboratory of my creator. Right now? It's the middle of the night. That is precisely why I am returning. My instruction was to spend 1 day in human society. Now that the date has changed, that day has come to an end. Oh, that's kind of disappointing. Unable to comprehend Sam's sentiment, I turned to face him. Why? Why is it disappointing that I am returning to the laboratory? Even human beings return home at the end of the day. Why do you find it odd that I would do the same? Ah, well, when you put it like that. Sam rubbed the back of his head and put on a troubled expression. It's just that I was thinking that it's a shame that you have to leave so soon. You're a weird robot, but Pretty interesting. I wanted to keep talking to you for a while longer. I see. I nodded in understanding. So you too are in pursuit of knowledge. I wouldn't put it quite so formally. I was just having fun. That's all. You were having fun? Talking to me? Well, yeah. Isn't it obvious? It is not obvious. Moments ago, I was threatening to incinerate you. You were terrified and you made it clear that our beliefs do not align. Is that what you consider fun? I could have done without the part about incinerating me, but otherwise, yeah. The rest was pretty fun. The fact that we think differently isn't a reason for us to not get along. In fact, that's all the more reason for us to talk. The world will be pretty boring if everyone thought in the same exact way, right? It's interesting to hear the perspectives of other people, and to debate ideas with them. I agree that amassing different perspectives is imperative for a diverse set of data to be created. However, those different perspectives are also the root of humanity's many problems. If everyone thought the same way, this world would become much more efficient. Well, efficiency is in everything, you know. Even you understand that. I mean, incinerating 2 living human beings and destroying a building is a pretty inefficient way to kill a man, right? I could not deny Sam's statement. I could have easily beaten the sleazy human to death, or skewered him on my arm, or killed him in a number of ways. Yet, I chose an energy-intensive and needlessly conspicuous method of execution. Thinking back, the teenage girl I met earlier had taught me a similar lesson. She purposely chose a method of reduced efficiency in order to increase her gains in another area. Further back still, the professor himself spent decades trying to solve a problem of humanity's own creation in the least destructive manner possible. He ignored the simplest, most efficient solution in the name of self-preservation. Against this evidence, I was forced to conclude that efficiency was not always the most important factor in reaching a solution. Yeah, because what we've observed from how Kyuu was reacting to everyone, even though she's always saying she's doing the most logical and rational thing, that's not always the case. Sometimes it seems that she's reacting a little with emotion. Very well, I will accept your hypothesis on this matter. However, I must still be on my way. Your desire to debate does not change that. No, I understand. I won't keep you. Though if it's alright with you, could I get your email address first? I paused at the familiar question. My DQ buddy had asked the same thing when it came for us to separate. She explained that she wanted to meet up again, and that this way we would continue to converse at my leisure. I found the notion of being able to gather more information from her at my whim appealing, so I created an email account there and then. Understood. I will provide you with my email address. However, you will not have much chance to use it. I will soon... No, it's fine. I promise I won't spam you or anything. If I get too annoying, just tell me to stop, okay? I'll do my best to stay on your good side. Though he clearly misunderstood my warning, Sam appeared genuinely happy to hear that I would consent to his request. Thus, upon exchanging email addresses, the two of us went our separate ways. My days spent among regular human beings had come to an end. My mission was over, and it was time to return to the laboratory. I would now deliver my final verdict to my creator. Yeah, I guess we're near the end. The end of humanity, maybe? Kyuu, honey, welcome back. Did you have fun? Was it scary out there in the real world? Papa was so worried about you. I kept telling myself that you would only be gone for a single day, but the loneliness was more than I could bear. The moment I returned to the laboratory, the professor ran over to my side and hugged me tightly. Surprisingly, his emotional outburst was not entirely fabricated. A quick scan of his vital signs indicated great levels of stress and anxiety. Be that as it may, I was not about to reward his faceless worrying. How troublesome. You appear to be even more senile than when I left. Return your senses, old man. I departed because you instructed me to do so. Do you not wish to hear my conclusion? I do. The professor immediately released his hold on me and straightened his back. His expression became serious in an instant, and the emotional distress that he felt vanished. All that remained was his curiosity and anxiety as he anticipated my judgment. Very well. After the designated period of human contact and information gathering, my conclusion is that... hold on a moment, Kyuu. Please, hold off on that for just a moment. Your final judgment isn't the only thing I'm interested in here. It is not. The professor shook his head. I sent you out into the world in order for you to interact with everyday human beings and to gain information firsthand. Before hearing your final judgment, please, tell me about your experience. I do not understand. Why do you wish to hear about my day? Are you confusing me with your ex-wife, thinking that I may find you attractive if you show interest in my life? Do not ask pointless questions, you perverted geezer. I'm here to deliver my judgment, and that is all. How harsh. I see that being among regular humans hasn't improved your cold personality at all. Even so, I must insist that you share with me the information that you gathered today. I cannot accept your judgment if you do not know how you reached that conclusion after all. While I believe that my judgment was the only truly important piece of information I could offer the professor, I did see his point. A conclusion without any reasoning would be worthless. I, for one, would certainly not accept an answer without any basis or logic to it. Faced with this irrefutable fact, I could only consent. Very well, I will tell you what you wish to know. Excellent. Tell me all about the people you met and everything you did today. I refuse. I will only tell you about the prominent individuals and events. Anything more will be a waste of time. Still smiling, the professor nodded in acceptance of my rebuke. Thus I began to explain. I see. That sounds like quite a fun day you had. I almost wish I was right there with you. The professor listened quietly as I told him about the more interesting people I had met. I started with the pervert in the park and his dog with bladder control issues, then moved on to the little girl with a fascination for fire. I told him about my DQ buddy. He had already sent me 7 emails by the time I returned to the lab, as well as the sleaze who prepositioned me and the wannabe hero who tried to protect me. Once I finished, the professor nodded once more. He spoke briefly and appeared to be in deep thought. Will that suffice? Or do you still wish to hear more? No, I think that will be enough. Understood. In that case, I will hand down my judgment of... one more thing though. Stop mid-sentence or mid-cycle once more. I glared at the professor. He appeared to be intent on delaying the inevitable, perhaps due to his fear of what my final answer would be. Whatever the case, I had little choice but to hear him out. Yes, what is it? Hey now, don't look at me like that. It's relevant, I assure you. I relaxed my expression and the professor sighed in relief. Listen, Kyuu. You've told me about what happened to you today, and you're prepared to hand down your judgment. But you still haven't told me about the conclusions you've drawn. Based purely on what you've learned today, what do you think of mankind? What behavior have you observed? Was there anything that defied your expectations? That's what I'm most interested in, even more so than your final judgment. So, you wish to hear my own biased conclusions on humanity as a whole, derived from a single day consisting of a few interactions with a limited subset of humans, all from a specific section of a single society? Yeah, more or less. Ridiculous. How can you even call yourself a scientist? Based on my own observations, 2 in 3 men are perverts, 100% of young girls soil themselves on a daily basis, dogs have infinite bladders, video games teach children the value of money. Also, I hesitated to continue. I already knew how the professor would react to my next statement, and without a doubt his response would serve to further delay my judgment. Nonetheless, I continued. When reaching a conclusion, efficiency is not the only important aspect to consider in some cases. Furthermore, criminals aren't guaranteed to reoffend and shouldn't necessarily be killed to ensure the safety of others. Finally, humans aren't all hopeless and ignorant. Even if the majority of them are useless sacks of meats, there are still some who can be reasoned with and are capable of changing their minds. Kyuu, my dear, you really... I did not wish to hear it, old man. Your incessant blathering has already wasted enough of my time. If you wish to weep, do so after I've passed judgment. Yes, you're right. This is not the time to get emotional. The professor, on the verge of tears after learning of my conclusions, wiped his eyes and nose as he steeled his emotions. Alright, I am satisfied. Please, Kyuu, bestow upon me your final judgment. As you command. In accordance with my ultimate directive, in the light of the data presented to and gathered by me personally, my conclusion is as follows. Humanity must still have hope. I mean, obviously I'm gonna pick the second choice. First choice is just boring. I mean, come on. All that and we're just gonna destroy humanity. I mean, humanity might still go extinct anyway, but come on. We gotta choose hope. We must choose hope over despair. And also, I guess, what is my reasoning? I mean, my reasoning is that it's more interesting to pick the second choice. But also, I mean, yeah, I mean, Kyuu, if you were following the story, as ridiculous sometimes as it was, she has been acting according to, like, emotions, right? Real human emotions. If she is indeed the first self-learning AI, or at least the first, like, advanced self-aware AI, she may have developed, like, actual, feelings. And she has acted on those feelings sometimes, right? In which case, that might be the answer to the question. We need not to act on simply logic and rationality, but also real human emotions. That is important in understanding of why we are the way we are as people. You need both. You need both logic and feelings together. Humanity is not completely beyond redemption. If we are able to educate the masses and bring about meaningful, widespread change in an expedited manner, mankind may yet be saved. Kyuu, do you really mean? The professor stared at me in disbelief. After being told repeatedly for so many years that humanity needed to either perish or be controlled, a new answer had finally been presented to him. Though I wonder, did that choice matter? Because Kyuu, she can lie, right? She can be dishonest. But as it turns out, she is not. She is not being dishonest. This time around, I was not deceiving him. Do not misunderstand. This will be a very difficult, lengthy process, and I can by no means guarantee its success. However, the groundwork is there, and I believe that with enough time, money, and education, humanity can be put on the right path. Yes, of course, I understand perfectly. Whatever you need in order to make it happen, just say the word. Calm yourself. You have little to do with the world's reformation. Or perhaps it would be more accurate to say you've already done your part. I place my hand on my chest, directly above the small-scale cold fusion reactor powering my body. First, we will build a much larger, more powerful cold fusion reactor. We will flood the planet with free, clean energy, and finally bring about the demise of fossil fuels. Next, we will focus on supporting current efforts to create synthetic meat products and bring them to market as soon as possible. Humans will not give up their favorite foods for the fight, but we can provide them with a cheaper, healthier alternative that looks and tastes exactly the same. They cannot complain. And after that, we will focus on biodegradable products that can be disposed of safely, and we will name and shame those who would still dare to illegally dump or otherwise dispose of hazardous materials in a dangerous manner. Then, we will... I guess all those strategies, basically, yeah, those are all ideas that we have currently in the modern world that haven't been fully implemented yet. Oh. Do we have to see this again? Do we have to see the urine? But yeah, that is the hopeful ending. And that is where I will end the game at. Because again, as I mentioned before, I believe the developer said, you're welcome to stream this game, you know, but you can't show different endings. But I mean, again, it's just like a free short game. I mean, you could play it for yourself as well, right? So, let's see the different ending you can do yourself, or, well, someone else probably put a video out there of the other ending. But yeah, it's just a short little fun game, you know. I guess it was like a little silly, but actually, you know, I was expecting it to be like full-on comedy for the whole time, but actually, like, it just gets a little philosophical, you know, at times, which is okay. But yeah, I liked the game. It was great. And that was it for Humanity Must Perish. Unless there's any extra scenes? Oh, there is actually. Okay, it's not over yet. As the professor and I set into motion our plans for reforming mankind, we began to walk down a long, difficult path. At the very beginning, nobody would take us seriously. They didn't believe for a moment that cold fusion was even possible, let alone feasible, and our efforts to become involved with their ambitious projects all ended in rejection. But after many failed attempts and countless rejections, we were at least granted an opportunity to prove that we could make a difference. We were awarded a small grant by the MFSF, the Musk Foundation for a Sustainable Future. It was not enough to bring about the revolution we had hoped for. In truth, it paled in comparison to the amount spent on creating me, let alone my predecessors. But it was a start. With the Musk Foundation's financing, we were able to build a small-scale cold fusion reactor. It was not as big as we had planned. In fact, the end product was barely twice the size of the reactor in my chest. Even so, it was enough to make waves in the scientific community. We caught the attention of every skeptic on the planet in one fell swoop. We showed the world that technology they considered unfeasible was not only possible, but had been brought to life by an old man and a robot dressed in a school uniform. Media coverage erupted. People who didn't know or care about clean energy in the slightest suddenly started paying attention, lured in by the notion of free electricity for everyone. The professor quickly gained the prestige and respect he deserved. The world started to take us seriously, calling the professor a man who could turn the impossible into reality. The first stage of our grand plan had been a resounding success. Hey, Gero-chan, over here. Sheesh, you're always late when I need you. I quickly walked over to my Dragon Quest buddy as I spotted her in the middle of a crowd. My apologies. I was in a meeting with Mr. Musk regarding a new product we've been working on. You said that last time. Honestly, I'm beginning to think that you're not taking this competition seriously. I take every competition seriously, especially those involving prizes in the form of monetary compensation. Science is not cheap. Then get your game face on and let's go. The other girls are already in the changing room. If we don't hurry, they'll start without us. Understood. Let us change clothes with speed and precision. Cosplayers! After changing into our stage outfits, my Dragon Quest buddy and I revealed ourselves to the crowd outside of the store. Ah, I knew it! I spy a magical girl. Pish, magical girls are a dime a dozen. Check out that robotic devil queen, now that's originality. Yeah, right, you're just perving on that poor girl. A sleaze like you could never understand the elegance and innocence of a magical girl, Maho Shoujo. The hell did you just say? Now, there's no reason to fight you two. I am the magical girl, peace and love. In my presence, even the most hated of enemies become good friends. All I need to do is to cast a magical spell on the two of you, and all of your anger will fly away. Yes, please, cast your spell on me. I guess I could tolerate that. Yay, Mira-chan! Loves guys who are honest with their feelings. Stand still while I cast my spell, okay? Yay! Mira-chan twirled around while waving her wand, all the while reciting a spell from the anime character she was imitating. And love! There, don't you feel better now? I do! I feel better than I've ever felt before. That's great. And what about you? Do you feel like fighting anymore? No, ma'am. Are you filled with peace and love? Yes, I'm filled with peace and love. Perfect! The spell works splendidly. Two of you are now complete gentlemen. The two young men smiled and blushed as they looked away from Mira-chan. I am? You think so? Of course, it takes a real gentleman to accept peace and love into their heart. Now all you need to do is kiss, and the two of you will be back on the right path. Yowie! BL. Kiss? You mean... kiss you? What are you talking about? Don't be silly. I mean, you need to kiss each other. No, that's a bit... Aren't you filled with peace and love? I am, but... This wasn't in the anime. I said kiss, dammit. I quickly grabbed hold of my friend before she could get herself in trouble again. I dragged her aside and gave her a tissue to clean up her nosebleed, then cooled my hand and placed it on her forehead. Thanks, Otis-chan. I got a little worked up there. It's just that whenever I see two hot guys stand close to one another, I want to grab them on the shoulders and push their faces together until they... Calm down. I further lowered the temperature of my hand and ran it down the excited girl's face and neck. You need to be more careful. You were already warned at the last show about forcing audience members to kiss. You'll never win the prize money if you get yourself kicked out of the competition, Sasha. Don't call me that. At this moment, Gero-chan and Sasha don't exist. As long as we're in costume, you're Otis-chan and I'm Mira-chan, got it? My name is Kyuu. Your name is Otis-chan. Now get into character and strut your stuff. On point once more, Mira-chan returned to her adoring fans with a fresh smile and renewed vigor. They all began to call out her stage name and fawned over her, easily making her into a crowd favorite. The money from this competition may not be sufficient, but if I had to judge whether or not this experience was worthwhile, I would not hesitate to give it my approval. Every day I learn new things about this world. You might be learning the wrong things. Things that no amount of raw data alone could teach me. And when I'm not learning more about human society, I'm working alongside my creator, striving to build a sustainable future for all of Earth's inhabitants. For a robot like me, who is prepared to slaughter every last human being on Earth, being able to live in peace like this is more than I could ever hope for. The truth is, when I look at the world as it is now, and I think about the future that I am helping to create, I look forward to seeing what lies in store for us. Even if there are setbacks, we will not surrender without a fight. If there's one thing I've learned about human beings, is that they will continue to push forward, even if the odds are stacked against them. When I work alongside such hopelessly optimistic creatures, I can say with certainty that my choice was the correct one. This may not be the easiest or most efficient path forward, but even so, I'm glad I did not give up on humanity so easily. Yay, happy end. Might not be a utopia, but at least we get to see her in a cosplay costume. Hooray. Or rather, well, yeah. Now what? I guess that's it. I guess, as it turns out, humanity should not perish. You know? And stuff. I don't know. What a fun and silly adventure. Also, a little like, I don't know, just a little philosophical. Which, I mean, I don't know. Personally, I don't like it when games get too philosophical, because it gets a little dry sometimes, a little preachy. But it's fine. As long as it was mixed in with like a little bit of like silly stuff, I think it was okay. But I think that was it for Humanity Must Perish. Or well, in this playthrough anyway, it did not perish. Until next time, see you then.